brakes. Koenigsegg, yep, he's got the advantage, but unironically, the average ducks to the inside. What a move! But Koenigsegg accelerating back on the outside. And there goes Salty Boncos to the inside. Bashing door panels, sparks flying, smoke spraying. The Butler is going to go wide. Salty Boncos on the inside. They're a little bit off the pace, but now accelerating all 500 horsepower. Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to X-Venture here live on Twitch TV as we get ready for season number 36's week 3 here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And yes, after race number 1 of tonight's segment, we will be halfway through season 36. Happens just that quickly. In the 1992 Bugatti EB110 Super Sport out on the track, and McQueen makes the biggest leaps and bounds coming out of week number 1 and then into week number 2. Now entering week number 3, moves from 4th to 1st on the leaderboard after 2 victories there in week number 2, both out at the Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe, and Daytona Sport Car Circuit, which now puts him above AMS Udakan, who was previously leading our leaderboard there with 97 points. Because of where he finished out in week number 2, he'll stay with 97 points and not move any further down than where he is right now in second, out in front of Audrex and Cratrum, who are tied for third with 90 points apiece. And then you've got Mesosphere there at 81, a couple of 76s for Slipstream and Barney, DUR Carryout with 72, Footang with 66, LSEM Buck with 64. That is your top 10 as we enter week number 3. Hello, I'm Dustin Moore on the microphone, as always, here for the Forza Spec Racing Series after many, many seasons now under the belt. I think I've got this thing figured out by now. I think we've got it figured out a little bit. Yeah, we are in the EB110 Bugatti, and what a combination of tracks that we have here today. It is just like all weeks 1 through 4. It is a 2-race evening. First, starting out at Circuit de la Spa. I don't know why I said it like that, because that's Catalonia. Spa-Francorchamps out here in Belgium. And then it's going to be followed by Sebring in the good old US of A down in Florida. So a great combination of tracks, 2 tracks here this evening. This coming off the heels of, again, Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe, and Daytona, where McQueen won both of those races and picked up the win in the second race of week number 1. But because of a mistake out at Watkins Glen, where McQueen was leading that race and then had to go into pit lane for whatever reason, McQueen is just 1 race away from having swept the first 4. But still, to have won 3 in a row, not bad at all, and that sets him up nicely going into week number 3. And, of course, the name of the game here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, alongside a lot of different community-run leagues, is there's a drop week rule in effect. The week in which you have the lowest number of points, they'll go ahead and set that one aside and calculate or tally up your top 4 weeks, and that's your championship points, and that's what we're showing here, the championship points for each of our drivers on the leaderboard. And of course, there are more than just the 20 drivers that you see there. It's just 20. That's the cut. It was 24 previously on our old leaderboard. Now with the newfangled leaderboard, you got to be in the top 20. It's a little bit of a goal. Try to get up on the broadcast leaderboard. All right, so I talked about the schedule, what we had over the last couple of weeks, what we have here tonight with Spa and Sebring. Oh, it is Circuit Day Spa, Francorchamps. I don't know why I didn't feel like there was a Circuit Day in front of it, but there apparently is. And then we've got Circuit de Catalunya, the Grand Prix circuit next week with Road America, another great assortment of tracks. And then week number 5, well, I should say season 36 as a whole is a great assortment of tracks, and it just continues to roll on in week number 4, and then week 5 out at Monza. Probably the one track where I'm not fully on board with it. You know, it's at Monza. It's a flat track. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a storied track, I guess. I mean, it's a circuit that is pretty popular. And we'll finish things out there with 45 laps around that one. But here tonight, we've got 13 around Spa, followed by 15 out at Sebring full. No precipitation to be concerned with here through week number 3. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's any precipitation at all here in season 36 with the S800 Bugatti Super Sport, the EB110, which has 587 horsepower, 461 foot-pounds of torque, 86 pounds of vehicle curb weight. And they're in the lobby right now getting loaded up, getting prepared for qualifying, which will get going here at about the top of the hour, give or take, give them an extra minute or two to make sure they capture all the drivers. And there's even a few drivers who, one, won't be out here racing tonight for one reason or another. And then I think Modern Weapon is one of the drivers who said, hey, I won't be out there for qualifying, but you can count me in for the race. And so he'll be set back to the back of the pack, but that's fine. I mean, to get in here and race, that's the primary goal. If you can't qualify, then at least make the race. And if you can't make the first race, then at least try to get here for the second race. I think that just goes to show how kind of relaxed this league is, but at the same time, very competitive. Not only at the top of the leaderboard in the front of the grid, but then also through the midfield and even at the back. You're going to find somebody who you compete well against, and I don't know what's going on with our lobby here. We've got a Bugatti that's rolling backward down pit lane. That's always fun. Fun with Forza Motorsport 7. And yes, it is Forza Motorsport 7, and as announced today, Forza Motorsport 7 is coming to Game Pass. For anybody who does not yet have this title, you can get Forza Motorsport 7 for free on Game Pass, and I believe that happens maybe beginning. Gosh, I didn't record the date. I didn't take note of what the date is, but it's coming. So look up maybe the Xbox Twitter handle or go to xbox.com, and I'm sure one of their news pages will have the article for you, or anywhere on the web, the World Wide Web. Somebody's bound to have that information for you about when this title is coming to Game Pass. So again, if you don't have it, then I would encourage you to go ahead and save your money and then pick it up for free as part of that program. If you have Game Pass, you got to get subscribed to that. Chaos Fox with the Tier 1 subscription, 6 months in a row. Thank you, sir, and welcome back. Hello to you as well, Chaos Fox. And now I think that puts you into the gold helmet tier with your icon. I think that's the 6 months is the magic number there for the gold helmet. So congratulations to you, and thank you so much for your support of the broadcast. Can't actually race now, completely understandable, but at least your support of the stream is much appreciated. And make sure you guys are following SGR Chaos Fox here on Twitch. He's been playing a little bit of Gran Turismo. I've seen you doing some Gran Turismo stuff as of late, and even some Wreckfest. So branching out a little bit, much like what I've been doing here on, of course I say that, but I know you've been playing a variety of games for quite a while. You didn't just start now, but yeah, testing out some different avenues, if you will. So SGR Chaos Fox, there's his name right there in the Twitch chat, the pit lane as we call it. Give him a follow here on Twitch and catch him live from night to night. I think you stream quite often. Quite often, I think. All right, so here we are out at Spa. Drivers getting loaded in. We've got 15 on the grid currently of the 23 spots available. Make sure if you're interested in participating in future races, and you could jump in mid-season. That's okay. Head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. Get signed up, or at the very least, get the information that you need to participate in the forthcoming season. Let's keep your eye fixated on season 37. Make it happen. We would love to see a full grid again. We saw it in season 35. Season 35 was very popular in the VW Scirocco. So who knows what the next vehicle is going to be? The champion is the one who determines what everybody's going to be driving in season 37. So it's one of the perks if you happen to win one of the seasons here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, on top of the bragging rights, of course. On top of the bragging rights. So Motion Fire reminding me to spectate. There I go. I'm in spectate mode. And Slow says, here we go. 3 laps around the 4.35 mile Spa Francorchamps. AP1 Raccoon will be the first off the line here. Taking it into La Source, turn number 1, that sharp right-hander, which then begins the run up the hill. Tordo Rouge. Then Radion onto the Kimmel Straight. Put the stats there in the bottom left-hand corner underneath the map. So as our drivers cross the line here in the next minute and a half or so, we'll start to see those quick times. 3 qualifying laps. The first is the standing start that we just witnessed, and then it'll be 2 flying laps, trying to set your best time. That'll put you further up in the grid for the start of the race, which is going to be very important out here at Spa. I don't know. I'm guessing there might be a little bit of tussling going on mid-pack, going up Eau Rouge, and so you don't want to have any part of that if you can help it. And therefore, a quicker lap time, the fastest that you can get away from the larger pack of drivers, the better you might be. As we see coming out of turn 11 is Raccoon, now into Puhan. AP1 Raccoon struggling a little bit. Maybe the tires not yet warmed up there underneath the EB110. Again, it's 587 horsepower. They've got the race oil and cooling with the homologation restrictor plate applied. In the platform and handling department, it's race brakes, race springs, and front and rear roll bars of the race variety. Sport weight reduction. The drivetrain includes a sport driveline, a race differential. Tires and rims are race tires wrapped around Speedline 859s with a race front bumper. That way they can make some adjustments. That wing that you see on the back there, that would be factory for the EB110 as AP1 Raccoon. Now out of Blanchimont up to turn 18, the one that I always struggle with, the one that always sends me wide, and sure enough, he's going to go grass hunting, although he's able to bring it back out onto the raceway before running off into the grass, and now he's going to slide it in to 19 and 20 here, the chicane, the bus stop, before running back up toward the start-finish line. Let's go ahead and drop back to, I don't know, let's go to Fear the Fun, who, if my memory serves me correctly, did not have a fun run back there in week number 3 and actually bowed out a little bit early there, I think, in the Daytona race. The race at which he was intending to jump in. He was unable to race the Circuit de la Sarthe out at Le Mans, and then said, you know what, let me get in here on the Daytona one. Well, that didn't work out too hot for him. And so now he's going to have to try to make the most out of week number 3 to recoup some points and to make week number 2 a drop week as he goes now out onto the Kimmel Straight. I might have committed a cardinal sin for any coffee drinkers that are in the chat here. I went ahead and tried something a little different, at least in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe this is a thing, and I just don't know. For anybody, and for anybody who doesn't know, I drink 1 cup of coffee each week, and it's before this race, just so that after I get done with work, I have a little extra boost, a little extra pick-me-up going into the broadcast. And today we had these little mini candy bars at the house, and so I dropped a mini Milky Way into my coffee cup before pouring in the coffee, and then on came the coffee, and I assume it's melted. I don't know. I haven't got to the bottom yet, but hoping that that chocolate and that caramel mixed in there pretty nice. I can kind of taste it a little bit, but maybe as I get to the bottom, it'll be a bit stronger. Again, could be a cardinal sin. I don't know, but it's something I did today. As now we watch, this is going to be a slow motion fire coming out of Puhan. He's going to run wide, so that'll dirty his first flying lap there in the Coca-Cola black car, which, if I remember, I think that's Coca-Cola's take on coffee. Iced coffee? Unless it's completely made up and I'm just imagining things, which is not out of the realm of possibility. Right now, it is LSC and Buck with our quick lap time at a 2:29.285, as we see some of our drivers now crossing the line here. AMS Udakan with a 2:25.113. DWM Frog saying, wow, I'll have to try that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose maybe I could have added 2. I haven't tasted it yet, but yet I haven't gotten down to the bottom. So maybe that's where all the flavor resides right now, as we see Chaos Fox now coming out of turn 20, the final left-hander, and across the line. Jump up to Funtang, who has the second quickest time during qualifying, and on his third and final lap, grabbing a little bit of the dirt. That's okay. Kept 2 tires within the track limits. We don't see him here, but for some of our drivers, they may very well have the track limit indicator turned on, which gives you a nice little blue line on the outskirts of the racing surface. You put 3 or more tires outside that white line. That dirties your lap. Back into Puhan. Chaos Fox with the 3rd quickest lap. LSC and Buck in 4th. 5th is Fox Jason D. Audrex in 6th, which is kind of changing things up a little bit because of the fact that you got to set a clean lap. Some of those drivers we might expect to be in the top 5, top 10, currently sitting a little bit further back because they don't have a clean lap at this point. Funtang, however, not one of those drivers who is not expected to be at the top. I mean, he most certainly is. We don't often see him as far up as this, but Funtang came into week number 3 here tonight, currently sitting 9th overall on the leaderboard with 66 points, back behind DOR Carryout and just ahead of LSC and Buck, who's in that 10th position and now in a 19 and 20. Jump back to Audrex in the Ryzen machine. And he goes across the line. It looks like AMS Udakan has secured the pole position at 2:23.243, beating his second lap, which was a 2:25 and some change. And nobody else able to outdo him here. And as I look through the field, it looks like RZ and McQueen not out here right now. And so either RZ and McQueen's going to have to take this as a drop week, or I'm looking through to see if maybe he's joined after qualifying. I don't see him. So this may very well be a drop week for McQueen, which, again, is not ideal. He had a great week 1 if you consider the fact that he finished first in race number 2. However, had a chance to win both the races in week number 1 before having some sort of incident that took him from 1st to 8th in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 laps out at the Watkins Glen full circuit. And so not to try to avoid, having to fall back on week 1 in terms of points, making up his 4-week total. It would have been great for him to be out here tonight. Just not going to be able to make it happen. And so week 1 will come back into the picture for him if it's going to be 2 goose eggs here in week 3. I'll go ahead and look to the driver spotlight, that Q for Interview channel here in the Forza Spec Racing Series Discord. And while I do that, there are your standings once again. Entering week number 3. And yes, it was McQueen with the back-to-back wins, yielding 100 points and moving him from 4th overall to 1st in a week's time. And not seeing anybody out there wanting to chat. It's been like that this season. They've waited till in between the races and then at the end of the broadcast, as opposed to some jumping in after qualifying. It happens. It happens. Audrex just having a spectacular run in season 36, and he normally does. I mean, we usually see Audrex in the top 8, top 6, but now he's in a great position to be vying for a podium spot here after 5 weeks are all said and done. One of the more consistent drivers, not the fastest that you'll find out here on the track, not the fastest, but the most consistent, which is usually the reason why we see him in those top 8, top 6 positions each and every season. It will be 13 laps out here at Spa. A lot of racing around the 4.35 mile Spa-Francorchamps, and 19, make that 20 corners spread out across the track. And hey, I think there's a 25-hour event coming up, right, for Spa? It's usually 24, but they're going to go ahead and tack on an extra hour, and I think that's coming up. Gosh, I don't know. Is it November? I think it is. I think it is in November. Maybe October even. A little extra racing there for you, especially in a year where it's just been weird, you know? Let's see, we've got 15 drivers out there, which is the same number that qualified. So maybe Modern Weapon isn't going to make it after all. Graham and LSE and Buck working to make either making some changes to the car or just maybe a little slow on the ready trigger. But we'll get out there. And yes, it will be, by the way, we didn't look, but our race results there, it will be AMS Udakan who will be on pole for the start of race number 5 out of 9 races in each season. Slipstream with a 226.387. You see AP1 Raccoon and Fear the Fun even with dirty laps. Same could be said for Grem. There's Udakan's 223.243, and nobody nobody even really comes close. I think the driver who will be sharing row number 1 with him is Craytrim, who had a 225.375. And Stronger Man X 816. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the broadcast. Great to have you here. Sorry, you guys couldn't see the times. Now you do. Now you do. And perhaps they're waiting for Modern. Oh, there he is. Sure enough. As I say it, Modern Weapon jumps in, so we'll take the total number of drivers up to 16 at this point. So we qualified with 15. We're going to add Modern Weapon. Still no signs of McQueen, which after the start of this race, it will be a no doubt goose egg for him for race number 5, which again will put him in a position to have week number 3 as his drop week and try to make the most out of it now in week 4 and 5, considering that he'll have to take the points that he accumulated there in week number 1, which is wasn't the maximum. He's won 3 of the 4 races so far here in season 36, almost made it all 4. When you have multiple drivers with dirty laps, how do they position them for the start? So yeah, it'll be the driver with the fastest dirty lap who will be further up in the grid ordering and then work their way back from there. So even after the clean laps have been sorted, then you take a look at those dirty laps and say, okay, who had the fastest dirty lap? That'll be the next driver on the grid, then the next and the next and the next. And then for any driver who didn't qualify whatsoever, they'll just be at the very back of the pack of that list. And if there are multiple drivers who join in without a qualifying time, well, then it'll be based on the order in which you jump into the lobby. All right. I think everybody is readied up, so at any moment now we should hear from Slow Motion Fire. Yep, sure enough, there he goes. And Slow Motion saying, shame to Modern. I can't believe he did that to you, Dustin. Everyone in chat, shame Dustin. What? I don't know what happened. Shame me? What did I do? I don't know what I did. What did I do wrong this time? We'll put our camera here on Craytrim, who indeed is going to be on row number 1 there with Udakan. It's Funtang and Barney in row number 2, and then Slipstream is going to be on the inside line of row number 3. Amos Udakan, yeah, he'll be on the right-hand side as the first corner is a right-hander. As soon as he moves, everybody else can join him in beginning lap number 1. Kick the tires and light the fires. Week number 3 of the Forza Spec Racing Series is underway in the Bugatti EB110. Into La Source they go, turn number 1. Now the charge toward this little kink, the right-hander. It'll be turn number 2 up to Eau Rouge and Radion for 3, 4, and 5. And Amos Udakan already now with about a 5 or 6 car length lead as they head up the hill. Here comes Craytrim in tow with that Swordfish Motorsport car out on the Kimball Straight. Their turn number 6, that slight little angle there, and now up to 7, 8, 9, Lecombe. It's Chaos Fox in 3rd, Born as Ghost in 4th, Buck in 5th, Audrex is 6th. Then it's Slipstream, Barney, Fox, Jason D, and Fear the Fun, 7, 8, 9, and 10 respectively. There goes Craytrim out of 9, now up to Bruxelles. It's going to be the horseshoe here, turn 10. Down the hill they go. Out here at Spawn, yes. Just like that, Amos Udakan is off and running toward Puhan, leaving everybody else in the proverbial dust as Craytrim now underneath the signage there on the straight out of turn 11. He is now into Puhan with Chaos Fox, Born as Ghost back behind him in 3rd and 4th. They'll go ahead and clip on past the camera. Now up to turn number 13 and 14, Campus. Stavlot is 15, the right-hander, which is then going to take you back toward the start-finish line here, again on the 4.35-mile Circuit de la Spa for 13 laps. That 14th lap you see there in the upper left, that's a cool-down lap. Pay no mind to it. Let's go ahead and drop back to 4th position with Born as Ghost, who's having a nice little run here. And then back behind Born as Ghost, you see Audrex, 3rd right now on the leaderboard. Coming into week number 3, tied with Cratrim. So Audrex definitely want to set his sights on 2nd place or better to try to keep himself above Cratrim on the overall leaderboard as they come charging back toward the start-finish line, beginning of lap number 2. Looking to the inside is Audrex. That's going to send Born as Ghost running a little bit wide, too quick out of the source. Now they're going to go side by side. Up to a Rouge. There's Chaos Fox. You see him out in front. He's got all the room he needs to make a move. Oh, and there's a collision. Born as Ghost getting tapped by Audrex on the inside. That's going to spin him into the tire wall. And even Chaos Fox was a little slidey coming up the hill. He had all the room in the world to work with, but caught the grass, and that sent him sideways, putting a little bit of tire smoke into the air. And just like that, Audrex is now kind of a little bit bullied. Born as Ghost, I don't know, certainly nothing intentional there. Completely inadvertent. Going up a Rouge, not ideal. Not exactly something that you want to try. And let's go take a look at that here on the X-Venture Rewind. See if we can spot that again. Here goes LSM Buck. Now out of turn 11. He too is going to slide the back end of the 587 horsepower Bugatti EB110. Audrex closing in. Now coming out of Puhan. The Ryzen AMD car with Chaos Fox right there in front of them. They're going to go bumper to bumper here now, out of turn 14 into 15. Doki44, thank you for the follow and hello to you. Welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you hanging out here on a Tuesday. And Audrex, he's already looking for a way around Chaos Fox. He's not going to wait. It's a long track. With 12, make that 11 and a quarter laps remaining. But he knows if he wants to have a chance at Cratrim, he's got to keep pace. And now here they come into 19. Chaos Fox maybe a little heavier on the braking than Audrex is. That holds him up a little bit. Here comes Audrex to the inside. Down the front straightaway, they'll come charging toward the start-finish line. And it looks like Audrex is going to go ahead and pull out the cards for 3rd. Can he do it? He's going to have to stash those cards and wait to drop that hand here. Another opportunity, the next opportunity as he gets coming out of La Source, just not able to secure it. And back to 4th he goes, looking at the back bumper. Let's see if Chaos Fox makes the same mistake that he made a lap ago. He does. He slides it out. Coming up Eau Rouge. That's going to lose a little bit of speed, and now Audrex is going to have a shot at him coming down the Kimmel Straight, and a little blocking maneuver there by Chaos Fox. That's okay. That's within regs. And now back into the S's here of 7, 8, 9. Nicely done there by Audrex through Bruxelles. Chaos Fox is going to try the switchback. And just not going to be able to make it happen. As a matter of fact, gets onto the back bumper there of Audrex. And that sends him sliding out of turn 11. Out of Puhan. Audrex now starting to establish a little bit of a lead there, and he's got Cratrim up ahead. Let's go back to the X-Venture Rewind. That pass by Audrex on Chaos Fox to take 3rd. Nicely done. Now Audrek's about, I don't know, a second or two back behind Krejcim here as they come up toward the line for the beginning of lap number 4, in which Udokan has already tripped the sensor. And he's already now emerging from turn number 1. So if Krejcim or Audrex are going to have a shot, they're really going to have to speed things up. Granted, AMS Udokan with that 123 and the best that Krejcim could do during qualifying. Granted, it was only 3 laps, so that doesn't mean it's the slow or the fastest that he could have come across the line for qualifying, but a 125 to, again, Udokan's 123. So yeah, you do that 13 times over, and you can start to imagine the delta that is between those two drivers, and you can now imagine it or envision it here on our track map there in the bottom left-hand corner. As in due time, AMS Udokan is going to be on an entirely different sector here compared to the rest of the drivers as Audrex continues his charge up toward second. You've got back behind him Chaos Fox, who he made the move on here about a lap ago, in 4th, Slipstream in 5th. Fear the Fun is in 6th with LSC and Barney. Let's go to Barney in 7th position. Here comes Food-Tank to the inside of Barney. And can he secure it? Let's see if he goes ahead and stuffs Barney onto the inside line. He kind of does, but at the same time, Barney's going to put one of them elbows out, pushing Food-Tank a little bit wide, and now Food-Tank goes ahead and moves up to 7th, entering Puhan. And up there in 6th, Fear the Fun a little bit wide. With AP1 Raccoon back there in 9th, he's closing in. And now Food-Tank, just like that, after he gets by one of the LSCM drivers, closing in on Fear the Fun. Can he make another pass as he comes up to 15? There's Raccoon in the background. Oh, and we've got a driver who's off. That's going to be Fear the Fun. Fear the Fun off the track into Stavelot. And he'll have to try to make a recovery. Let's go to Fear the Fun, or at least I'm going to take a look here on the map. It looks like he's back there in 9th. We'll go ahead and bring the camera to his attention. Yes, he drops back behind AP1 Raccoon. And there you see LSCM Buck in 10th. And that's the one criticism that I have of Fear the Fun. He gets very eager, very anxious, and makes mistakes. And he's going to go ahead and get into the rear right quarter panel there of Raccoon. Now drops it into the inside, coming through 20. And these two in 8th and 9th coming across the line side by side. Raccoon to the inside, Fear the Fun on the outside, coming up to the source, and Raccoon's got it. Not before Fear the Fun, though, tries to do his own little switcheroo, and yeah, the switchbacks is going to pay off for him. He's got a lot of speed there with that angle of attack going into 1, and he's going to lead now the charge back up Eau Rouge and see if he can close back in on 7th of Barney, 6th of Boontae. Getting all kinds of action here on the X-Venture Rewind. Raccoon a little bit too far into the inside through turn 9. Now down the hill. Fear the Fun with that PNC bank livery. Let's go to 5th with Chaos Fox. Chaos Fox was in 4th. Well, he was in 3rd. Then Audrex made the move, and now Slipstream has made the move. And we'll see if Chaos Fox of the Scrubs Go Racing team, SGR, is able to climb his way back up toward a podium spot. AMS Udokan, our race leader out here at Spa, and by almost a full mile at this point. As he enters 19 and 20, Krejcim in 2nd. He's got nobody contesting at this point. Audrex in 3rd. slip in fourth, and then as we see right here, Chaos Fox in fifth, Foontang in sixth, Barney in seventh, eighth is Fear the Fawn, ninth is Raccoon, and 10th is Buck. Back behind them, 11th through 16th, it's going to be Spurzaus, Fox, Jason D, Modern Weapon, Slow Motion Fire, Grim, and Born as Ghosts. Let's go back to Audrex in third, trying to reel in Cratrim. And if there's any track where no distance is too large in terms of mounting a comeback, it's going to be out here at Spa. One little mistake by a driver who may even be, out on the horizon for you. If they happen to have an incident at Eau Rouge or coming out of Pujan, maybe it's going through 14 of campus, you just never know. You can close that gap pretty quickly, and here comes Audrex. Now through 7, 8, and 9. He is closing in. He's got good pace right now. Very good pace here by Audrex. Back into 10. Bruxelles, where he made the move on Chaos Fox about 3 laps ago. Now out of 11. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with Audrex. Up to 19 and 20th, turn 20. Here on lap number 6. Across the line, and maybe Cratrim, now that he's seeing Audrex in his rearview mirror, is starting to think, oh, I gotta be on it. As Audrex's pace doesn't seem to be closing in on Cratrim anymore. Well, as soon as I say that, here they come out of La Source, and we had a little bit of a hiccup there. I think we lost a driver, maybe another driver. I don't know what's going on here. We'll wait for the ticker to tell us. I believe we did, yeah, Fear the Fun. Out of the race now. And here comes Audrex. Let's see if he tries to make a move here on Cratrim at turn 10 again, where he made it happen against Audrex, or excuse me, against Chaos Fox. And Cratrim a little bit more defensive than Chaos Fox was able to be. Through 10, and so keeps Audrex honest and back behind them. Down to Pujan on the braking. You might think, well, shouldn't you just go through Pujan swinging it well out wide? You've got all that asphalt to work with out there, but genuinely it is slower. It is slower, so a little bit of braking applied going into turn number 12, keeping it between the white lines. That's how you'll be fastest. And of course, if you did try to find any sort of opportunity or advantage outside of track limits, then you might get yourself a little bit of a warning from the organizers not to exceed the racing surface, the track limits. And back up to 19 and 20 again. Look at Drex. Seems to have an exceptional braking setup here on the Bugatti. It's one of the things that our drivers told us about the EV110 that required their attention a little bit more than maybe some other cars that they've raced here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. The Bugatti's braking and its tendency to understeer. It's a pretty hefty car, almost 3,000 pounds of curb weight and 587 horsepower, so you got to try to tame every ounce, every pound of this boat that is the Bugatti. Big J Bishop telling us there in the chat he's fear the fun out here on the circuit that he DC'd. And then Ghibli Giblet says that engine sounds nice. I wish my scooter motorcycle would sound like that. Yeah, that Montana Bear, that's right. Ghibli Giblets equating it to the Montana Bear. And there goes Drex making the move up to second around Cratrim. Exactly what he needs here in week number 3 to stay out in front of Cratrim on the leaderboard. The one driver who I don't think he'll be able to chase down here is going to be Udakan, second overall on the leaderboard. And with McQueen out here in week number 3, this is going to make things very, very interesting going into week number 4. 5 weeks of racing. They take your top 4 in terms of the points that you produce, and that's what counts towards your championship point total. The driver with the most points is then the champion at the end of 5 weeks of racing, and that champion gets to pick the vehicle for season number 37. Let's go and take a look at the X-Venture rewind here. And we missed it. He already made the pass. Tai. I know, I'm butchering it. Thank you so much for the host, and welcome those of you who are now watching with us here on X-Venture. I'm Dustin Moore, as always, bringing the commentary to you here on a Tuesday for the Forza Spec Racing Series. We're in week number 3 of 5, and after this race here at Spa, we will be halfway through season number 36. Can you believe it? They go by too quickly. They go by too dang quickly. I'm going to have to tell Slow Motion Fire we need like a 10-week season. No, I'm kidding. It takes away a little bit of the appeal for some of the drivers. Obviously, we've got a lot of drivers who are very competitive and probably could go another few weeks, and then there are drivers who enjoy the fact that it's a 5-week season, which is pretty long in and of itself. I mean, to think that there's 5 weeks of racing, that's more than a month's worth. Once a week on Tuesdays. As Cratrim was battling there Drex for a little bit, but Drex did not let him have it through Lacombe. But yeah, that is part of the appeal of the Forza Spec Racing Series, is that you can get through the season pretty quickly, and it's accommodating for drivers of all skill levels. If you want more information about the Forza Spec Racing Series, head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. This battle for second, the best one that we have out on the track right now. In fourth is Slipstream, Chaos Fox in fifth, Barney in sixth, Foontang is seventh, then it's Buck, Raccoon, and Sprazouse, 8, 9, and 10. Then you got a grouping here from 11th on back to what looks to be 13th. Modern Weapon in 11th, Fox Jason D, and Slow Motion Fire in 13th. Then you've got Grim and Born as Ghost in 14th and 15th, respectively, with Fear the Fun being the 16th driver here in today's race. Unfortunately, getting disconnected, just continuing his line of misfortune here in season number 36. Across the line for the beginning of lap number 10. Up to 2, then Eau Rouge and Radion. Audrex hammer down. Trying to put Krejcim a little bit further behind him. That way he can safely say that he's got second place and stay out in front of Krejcim on the overall leaderboard. Next up after this one, we've got Sebring, the full circuit, all 3.7 miles of it. And, oh, we've got the black screen once again. That'll be 15 laps out at Sebring. Did we lose another driver? Funtang. Oh no, Funtang, who was having a very respectable run, is out. We'll go ahead and show a little bit of love to our race leader, Amos Udakan, who's in that number 99 car, and Udakan has 2 championships under his belt here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Came by way of season 33 and 34, and then season 35 went to his AMS teammate, AMS Storm, 1919. So clean, so consistent, even out of turn 1 and even with nobody behind him, like not letting up one bit, and has posted a quick time of a 2:22, which is better than his qualifying time of a 2:23. So he's just out there blazing trails here at Spa as we go back to Krejcim in third, back behind Audrex. With Funtang now out of the race, Slipstream is in 5th, Chaos Fox in 6th, Barney having a good run in 6th position. Buck is in 7th. Raccoon, Sprzow's modern weapon. Funtang giving us an update. When you're pushing hard and then get the disconnect, sad emoji. I know, man. You were doing, you had a heck of a run here. And it's so discouraging. And I hope, I sincerely hope that Turn 10 Studios can maybe find a way for drivers to get back in the race. And sure, after you get kicked out of a race, it's really hard for you to make up the ground to have a respectable finish, but to be able to jump back in and maybe try to at least make up a few spots, or to just say that you finished the race. I mean, just to be able to get back onto the track and say, I didn't give up. No matter how many disconnects I had, I was able to get back out there on the track. It would be nice. Yeah, hard charger, exactly. Funtang, you said it, but we've awarded it to you numerous times. So you're in the right to say that you're the hard charger trademarked. Funtang always qualifying about mid-pack and then making his way up through, or sometimes not having a good qualifying run at all, and then making his way up through the field. So we hate to see it, and hopefully we'll see you back onto the track here for Sebring, race number 6 of season 36. Back into 19 and 20 here, and this time by the flag stand. Well, it'll be the beginning of lap number 12, and then next time by the flag stand will be the white flag. SDR Floofy saying, I'm pretty sure Audrex is pronounced all-wheel drive WRX or just Rex. It's possible, but he's been Audrex for as long as I've been broadcasting, so I'm going to go with it. I have a tendency to just take your gamer tags and just make up whatever I want it to be myself. It's what I do. I kind of do love the fact that some of the racing leagues out there are now starting to transition toward driver names, like people's actual names. Yeah, sure, you'll see their gamer tags because that's how they log in to do the race. But I'm kind of liking some drivers transition toward, hey, use my name. They would rather be recognized for who they are versus maybe their Xbox Live gamer tag. And I don't know, it kind of makes it a little bit more, I guess, personable. And then for those who aspire for like big time esports, maybe a bigger esports presence, they would rather it be their name be synonymous with their skill as opposed to, oh yeah, that gamer tag, that one that the commentator always butchers. Floofy says Super WRX cars are frequently called Rex, so I guess that's what his gamer tag is meant to be. And it's entirely possible, Floofy, and it probably is. Audrex just being so kind not to correct me and just going with it. Plus, all-wheel drive Rex is not as easy to say as Audrex. And not as cool, might I say. All right, here they come up toward the start-finish line for the beginning of the final lap here. Lap number 13 out at Spa. Race number 5 here in Season 36, and it's Audrex in second with Cratrim in third. Well behind Amos Hurlicon, who's in first and has been since the very beginning of the race. Heck, he's been there since qualifying. He won pole and has not been challenged for that top spot. I only wish we could have seen McQueen out here on the track, because after his 3 back-to-back wins coming out of week 1 and all the way through week 2, it would have been nice to see McQueen battling Huracan out here at Spa. But, you know, things in life take priority, and hopefully we'll see McQueen back here for week number 4. Cratrim now out of Lecombe, turn 9, up to Bruxelles, turn 10. Let's see if he can muster something here on the final back half or 3/4 of Spa, or if Audrex makes a mistake. It's possible. Food Tank says, or you just make up random stuff like Big Time Tooth Guy. No, that wasn't completely random. That was that was T-Phrase driving an Oral-B livery one season, and I just said, I don't know, maybe he's got an Oral-B design on there because he's a Big Time Tooth Guy, and it just stuck. And why not? Big Time Tooth Guy will go down in the Forza Spec Racing Series annals of history as something quite special. Hey, if I could leave my mark, no matter how ridiculous it is, I'm gonna try to do so. And if it's Big Time Tooth Guy that sticks around, I don't know, is that what ran T-Phrase out of the league? I'm guessing not. T-Phrase just has other things he would rather be doing now. Which, by the way, T-Phrase, if he's here watching, good to have you here spectating with us. Otherwise, you guys catch him here on Twitch. Often, or at least as of late, has been doing a lot of iRacing stuff. And now into the final couple of corners. Here comes Audrex and Cratrim back behind Udakan, who's already crossed the line. And there you go, folks. Udakan in first, Audrex in second, Cratrim in third, Slipstream in fourth, Barney in fifth. Sixth is Buck, seventh is Raccoon. Let's go all the way back to Sprazows here in ninth position. He's got out in front of him Chaos Fox, who unfortunately has gone from fourth to 8th. Actually, make that third. Chaos Fox was up in 3rd, I think, for a bit before getting passed by Audrex. And now, going to have to settle for 8th. If he can get across the line here before Spazals takes it from him. 10th will go to, and just as I say that, Chaos Fox is well wide of 19. Has to cut in through the infield. They're at 20. And he will zig and zag across the line with Sprazals in 9th. 10th will go to Modern Weapon. Let's go to Slow Motion Fire, who's back behind in 11th. That's Fox Jason D. Can the Coca-Cola black car catch up? He cannot. And there you go. 13th will go to Born as Ghost. 14th is Grim. And then it was Funtang and Fear the Fun who had the unfortunate disconnects here in race number 5. We've got race number 6 coming at you here out at Sebring. And before we go out there for qualifying, we're going to go ahead and run a little bit of an ad break. I promise you, you will not miss any of the action. It's a little break so that I can take the time to record who finished where. We'll be back. We'll see if anybody wants to join us there in the driver's spotlight to have a word before we go out to Sebring for qualifying in week number 3. And there you go. That's the first half of season 36 in the books. We start the second half here right after this ad break. You're watching X Venture, the Forza Spec Racing Series, here live on Twitch TV. And welcome back to X Venture here live on Twitch TV. For those of you who Stuck it out through the ad break. I appreciate that. It does support the broadcast, and for those who may be joining us a little bit later on, they can avoid those pre-roll ads and get straight into the action as we see it out on Sebring. There's the schedule as we've knocked off Spa from the books there, and we move on to Sebring, Circuit de Catalunya, and Road America coming up a week from tonight. 17 and 14 laps respectively there, and then we close things out in Week 5 on Tuesday, October 13th, with Monza full for 45 laps. Let's go ahead and go to the driver's spotlight. We've got Fox Jason D. Fox completing the race there at Spa in the 11th position, back behind Modern Weapon, close to getting into the top 10.
Hello.
You almost made it into the top 10 at Spa.
I know.
EB 110.
I mean, heck, this 11th spot is still, like, I think the best I've ever done in any race, so yeah. I'll definitely take it.
Do you feel comfortable here in the EB 110? We haven't had a chance to chat with you since the beginning of season 36. Or are you comfortable with the car, or do you think genuinely you're starting to get this thing figured out and you're able to obviously best some of the drivers out here on the track?
I think personally, I think I am starting to figure out how to do this, drive this car. I know I know there has been some difficulties with figuring this out, but I think overall I think it might just be how the basic thing I've been doing, but I've started to figure out this car, I think.
Yeah. Talking with Fox Jason D here in the driver's spotlight after the conclusion of race number 5. We're about to go out to Sebring. I think you've mentioned before that you seek the help of Chaos Fox for each of these races. Have you tried to go solo here in season 36, or are you still kind of soliciting some advice?
I really haven't. I think this, like, for this series, not as much from SGR Chaos Fox, but I mean, I've been going at it alone, just like with help from like a number of other people.
Gotcha.
But there hasn't been one particular person this time around. But I mean, regardless, I mean, I just always have to give a shout out to SGR, to my friend SGR Chaos Fox Russ, just because, just overall, and just like he's been one of my he's been my single biggest supporter, not just for here, but with the other series that I've done so far. He's really helped me to push me to where I am, honestly. I know that I wouldn't have kept playing this game if it wasn't for him.
Very cool. Very cool to hear about how those kind of little social interactions here over Xbox Live can like encourage you or inspire you or motivate you to do something that you might not have otherwise done here in Forza Motorsport 7. So 11th place out there at Spa. Now we go to at least a track that I would consider a little bit less complex. Sebring. It's flat, no elevation change. You got a lot of high-speed straights, taking that high speed into the corners. I don't know. Do you breach the top 10 here?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it would be nice, but if it does happen, that would be awesome. But when it comes down to it, it's always like seeing how I can perform, like by my own performance. That's, yeah. I think, rather than like where I specifically place. I mean, so.
Well, hey,
a top 10 would be really nice, but hopefully that does happen. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully it does. I'll be rooting you on. We'll take a look back there when we get the chance. I know a lot of times we get the camera fixated up on the front, but if there is an opportunity to look a little bit further back in mid-pack, then we will certainly do that. Encouraging Fox Jason D to try to get a top 10 finish out here at Sebring. Best of luck to you during qualifying.
Thank you.
All right, so there you go. Another driver who says, you know what? I've taken part here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, and it was because I was motivated to do so, and as a result, I've improved my skill over time. Even if you don't know anybody here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, let me be the person that says, get in here, Find the driver that you compete most closely with. And then, of course, if you need a little bit of help, don't hesitate to reach out and ask the drivers to raise your hand and say, hey, guys, I could use a little bit of help, whether it's with tuning. Maybe it's you need to understand, try to help understand a particular track, or maybe it's just you're venturing into the world of Forza Motorsport, or I guess virtual racing altogether, and you just want pointers to make your, I guess, your inaugural league debut a good one, a good experience, which they do help out with that a lot here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. It doesn't matter about whether your skill level is high or not. If you're curious and wanting to compete against drivers who are not artificial intelligence, that aren't the AI drivers, then the Forza Spec Racing Series is a good place to start. And even if you do have that experience, you have raced in the league before. You see the likes of AMS Otakon, you've got Audrex, you've got Cratrim, we've had AMS Storm in here. We've had a whole slew of drivers that you will also see in some of those high-profile race events, both professional esports and then other events like Tora, the Online Racing Association, and all the excellent activities and events that they put on. You're going to find an assortment of skill levels here in FM4, and it's just a great opportunity, a great place for you to test your skill. And even if you're a little bit over Forza Motorsport 7, which is, closing in or more than 3 years old at this point, even if you're a little bit tired with it, well, it's amazing how a league can kind of get you excited again, and then maybe that'll set you up nicely as we transition at some point into the next Forza Motorsport title, just titled Forza Motorsport. That's going to be the next one. So reddit.com/r/FM4, that's the place to go for more details. And even if you want to jump in here in weeks 4 and 5, you can. You won't be in the running for the championship. That's okay. As long as you race clean, that's all they're looking for. And then that way, over the next 2 weeks, you can get familiar with the format. You can get familiar with the guys and gals out here on the track and be ready for Season 37 in whichever vehicle it is going to be. All right, we've got our drivers who are readying up. All 16 still logged into the lobby, and hopefully this time around we'll be able to hold on to Fear the Fun and Funtang, who got DC'd there in our first race of the evening. And as soon as they're readied up, we'll go at the Sebring, the full circuit, all 3.7 miles of it for 15 laps, but not before we do the 3 laps of qualifying. Born as Ghost says, I couldn't see Audrex, so I had to leave some room going up Eau Rouge. I was afraid I'd chop off his nose and kill everyone, but I clipped a curb and killed myself, says Born as Ghost. Oh, so that's what happened. Yeah, we saw that battle going up Eau Rouge. Unfortunately, in Forza Motorsport 7, it doesn't give us the best camera angle coming up that hill. It's kind of like a low-profile camera at the top of the hill, and it cuts over to that camera as the cars are going like halfway up Eau Rouge. So it's kind of an odd viewing experience for us, and as a result, I couldn't really make out what had happened between you two, but that would explain it. That would explain it. All right, let's go ahead and get some audio going here in game as we load up with 16 drivers out here at Sebring for the beginning of race 6, or at least the qualifying for race 6. Keep your eye on that bottom left-hand corner where we will throw the race stats up, and AMS Unicon will be the favorite driver, I think, to anticipate on pole when it's all said and done here after these 3 laps. Got our camera here on the Swordfish car of Cratrim, who finished in 3rd behind Audrex. I mean, even if Audrex is going to run away with it here at Sebring, it'll be very, very fascinating to see what happens between Cratrim and Audrex, who not only are close out here on the track, at least they were out at Spa. I presume that'll be the same here at Sebring, but they're also close on that overall leaderboard heading into week number 3. Here comes Cratrim into the back S's there of Sebring. Turn 7 now up to 8 It's Fangio. The left-hander there is turn 9, now up to turn 10. The very sharp right-hander, the one that I think you've got to slow down for the most. You've got that nice little stretch there. It's a little bend through turn 9 on the back half of the track. Then it's into Tower here at 13. And then here's the hairpin, the little left-hander that can make or break, actually a combination of left-handers that can make or break your run on any lap out here at Sebring. You run it wide, it's going to take a little bit of work to get it back in. And now through 15 and 16, Lamar out onto the Ullman Straight, charging towards Sunset Bend for the 17th and final corner out here at Sebring. Cameron Exley, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the broadcast. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday, or if you're across the pond, a wonderful Wednesday. And we've got somebody into the wall there through 17 here during qualifying. There goes Cratcham across the line, and now is a good time to go ahead and throw those stats there in the bottom left. Cratcham with a 2:10 on the standing start. AMS Unicon, though, with a 2:08. Barney into pit lane. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe the organizers forgot to turn off damage here during qualifying, and so Barney's like, help me out, guys. That, or Barney's looking for maybe some not clean air, because the cars are ghosted. There's no slipstreaming here in the qualifying session, but maybe just looking to have no ghost out in front of them, and opting to go into pit lane to slow them down and allow some of the vehicles to get by. AMS Unicon with a 2:08 now. 2:08. LSCM Barney, one of two of the LSCM drivers out here. Light Speed Esports. The EM part, or I guess just the M part, kind of dropped from their name. They maintain the LSCM tag, but what was previously known as Light Speed Endurance Motorsports is now just Light Speed Esports. Go hang out here with AP1 Raccoon. You see Borna's Ghost there and Funtang. Yeah, they are ghosted, but Funtang probably peeking around Borna's Ghost or AP1 Raccoon there to try to find the apex through 15. And now back down that Ullman Straight here. 3.7 miles. In Forza Motorsport 7, whether you've got it for the Xbox or the PC, you can race here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And if you don't have Forza Motorsport 7, well, hold on to your money, your hard-earned money. Forza Motorsport 7 is coming to Game Pass at some point, pretty soon. I don't have the date memorized, but it was just announced here today that Forza Motorsport 7 will be available to all Game Pass subscribers. And then the next Forza Motorsport title will be a day one Game Pass release, which is exceptional value. Even if you're one of those who traditionally goes for all the content and therefore you buy the Ultimate Edition or whatever it is that they call it. Well, if you decide you want to test the game out before you commit to the purchase, then Game Pass is a great way to essentially demo any of these games that are coming out day one. Spanning a large number of studios that now are a part of Xbox Game Studios. Yeah, a lot of people had been asking. I mean, you go to a lot of the Twitter posts by Forza Horizon Not so much Forza Horizon, because the Horizon titles have been Game Pass, or at least Forza Horizon 4 was Game Pass when it came out on day one. But some folks saying, hey, when is Forza Motorsport 7 coming to Game Pass? Well, you have our answer here today. MS Unicon now with a 2:05.142. Second quickest time belongs to Cratrium, LSM Buck, then Futang, Slipstream, and we'll take a look at all these times after this third and final lap here at Sebring. But as I mentioned, Forza Motorsport, know that Forza Motorsport is not going to be a day one title for the new Xbox Series X console. We've heard from Turn 10 Studios that Forza Motorsport, and that is its name, is quote-unquote early in development. So it could be another year or two before we see Forza Motorsport, which then poses the question, when will we see the next Horizon title? Could be some time. It might bump that to the right a little bit as we get the black screen with some of the drivers, I think, dropping out of qualifying now. Yep, qualifying is done. Let's go ahead and take a look at those lap times. Cratrium with a 2:06.117. That's not going to be able to get him on row number one like he was out there at Spa. Amos Unicon without 2:04.735. That will be good for row number one and good for pole. 2:08.286 there for Fear the Fun. 2:07 for Slip. Odd Rex at a 2:06.320. Modern Weapon with a 2:11.177. Fox Jason D also with a 2:11. We talked to Fox Jason D, and he's going to see if he can't get into the top 10. Pretty good start there with that 2:11. That'll put him back there in, I don't know, row 6, maybe row 7. Futang with a 2:06.997. Born as Ghost with a 2:11.473. AP1 Raccoon with a 2:09. 2:08 for Barney. And his LSM teammate with a 2:06.799. Pretty quick there by Buck. I think that's good for row number 2. Grim with a dirtied 2:15.150. That'll put him all the way at the back of the pack. Chaos Fox with a 2:07.862. A 2:09.712 for Slow Motion Fire. And Sprazows with a 2:10.724. Let's go ahead and, speaking of Sprazows, let's head on over to the driver's spotlight. Sprazows, you got that 2:10. I think that'll be good enough for maybe row 4 or 5. What do you think about your qualifying time?
Somewhat happy with it. I dirtied my lap on lap 3. Would have been slightly better. I might have been in the top 10. But I'll take it. See what we can do this race.
Big vehicle adjustments or changes here going from Spa to Sebring?
No, actually, I'm running generally the same setup from Spa to Sebring. This is actually the same setup I ran at Suzuka, so we'll see how it goes. I really couldn't get anything right for the last week's races, but we'll see how this one goes for sure.
And you finished in 9th there in the first race, ahead of Modern Weapon, behind Chaos Fox. I don't know. You wanna tell us where you expect to finish it in this one?
Yeah. Look, first top 10 finish ever was in the last race, and I think some people may say that a reduced grid or something like that had something to do with it, but clearly I've improved dramatically from week to week. Obviously in the last 7 days I've made dramatic improvements to be able to finish in the top 10, so I don't think reduced grid has anything to do with it. Hoping for a top 10 finish here as well. Real confidence boosts back at Le Mans. I was coming down the Mulsanne straight with Hurricane and McQueen, and they couldn't get away from me. I was just as fast down the straights as those guys. So, that gives you a little bit of confidence. It proves you can run down the straights with these guys. You might as well try and figure out how to do the rest of it well.
Yeah, you might as well figure out the curvy bits as well. If you can go straight, then
figure
out those turns. Obviously, that'll help keep you on pace. And we're talking with Sprazows here in the driver's spotlight following qualifying out there at Sebring. Tell us what has been your experience or your thoughts on the EB110 here now that we are 5 going on 6 races into season 36.
It's a good car. I like it, but I think given the tracks we've had and the way the car is set up, that it does require tuning. But if you get the right tune, the car is fun. It's nice. It's quick. It turns well, does all the things you want it to do. But, it's one of those that I feel at least that if you don't have the right tune on it, for the right track, things can go south real quick. I honestly could not get anything right for Daytona last week. I couldn't make sense of any tune, and just evidence just all over the place, just a disaster. But some of these other tracks out here, you get the right tune down, you get some of these other guys to help you. McQueen helps you, Chaos Fox. These guys will help you with the tune, and if you get the right tune, the car is really nice. It's fun to drive.
You get through 16 corners out here at Sebring and then down the Ullman Straight, and everything's pretty smooth going up till there. And then you get to the notorious turn 17 there with Sunset Bend, and you've got those concrete squares that provide all those little undulations, all those little bumps. Anything there to be concerned with? Does that unsettle your car, or does all 2,800 pounds of this Bugatti help keep things planted?
That's just a tough corner. Almost any car you're in, you can keep it planted, but probably the difference between obviously those top guys in this series and me is that they're going to send it through that corner and get it, and I just can't. Either I'm not going to trust the car enough. I don't want to risk those bumps, so I'm going to take that turn slower than everybody else. I'll try, but to avoid a wreck, I just can't. I'm not that level of driver yet. It is a difficult turn.
He's going to make it happen, though, here in race number 6 of season 36. 15 laps around Sebring. Sprazows, best of luck to you getting a second top 10 time here in week 6.
Yeah, let's hope. Fingers crossed, right? Improvements week to week. Has nothing to do with the reduced grid.
That's right. Absolutely. I don't believe that either. And I said week 6. Definitely not week 6, since there's not even 6 weeks in a season here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Week number 3 is what I meant to say. All right, here we go. We've got the drivers who are readying up, 16 of them still out there on the grid. So even those 2 drivers, Fear the Fun and Foontang, who got booted in race number 5 of the season, they were not discouraged. They still want to be a part of the action, and so they'll be out there as well. And once everybody is readied up, then Slow Motion Fire will tell us that we are good to go green, and it'll be Amos Udakan out on the pole position. Again, the way things happen here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, and it's been going this way for about the last 3.5-4 seasons, is that the pole sitter dictates the start of the race. They do not go on the Forza Motorsport 7 countdown in the lobby, and instead the pole driver has 10 seconds from the end of that countdown to go ahead and initiate the race by pulling off the grid, and then everybody else can follow. It allows us as the broadcast to actually see the beginning of the race, and then also adds that little element, that little reward benefit for getting that pole spot for any of our drivers. As we see, looks like everybody's readied up, so any second now we should be getting ready to go green. 15 laps, 3.7 miles out here at Sebring. It is during the day, and there is no precipitation. Both of those are options, and we have certainly seen it in the dark and under rainy conditions out here at Sebring. But 587 horsepower EB110, it'll be putting all that power down onto a dry track. There's the look at the grid as you see it. MS Udakan and Kratrim actually is going to make it on row number 1. I thought he would be back on row number 2, but he does sit on the outside there of Udakan. Then it's Audrex, LSE, and Buck. Then Foontang and Slipstream in row number 3. Chaos Fox and Barney in 4. Fear the Fun and Slow Motion Fire in 5. Revving of the engines. And we're off. Kick the tires, light the fires. AMS Udakan trying to go back-to-back here in week number 3 with the absence of RC and McQueen. Into turn number 1 they go. And it will be Udakan who's leading them through with Audrex back there in 3rd, Kratrim in 2nd. Then it's LSE and Buck, Slipstream, and Foontang, 4, 5, and 6. Chaos Fox, Barney, Slow Motion Fire, AP1 Raccoon are 7, 8, 9, and 10 respectively. Now through turn 3, then it's 4 and 5. Up toward Big Bend for turn 6 underneath the Chevrolet Bridge. Up to the hairpin they go. Come on, camera. Zoom out for us. Here comes Kratrim. He's got Andrex hot on his heels here. Let's see what the braking's going to do. Who's going to be late on the braking? Who's going to be early on the braking? What does that do? Does it give the accordion effect to the rest of the grid? Well, here they come out of turn number 7, now into 8, and Fangio. Amos Udokan out there on the horizon as he continues to go ahead and just do what Udokan does. I mean, he's just gone. Like a bullet shot out of a gun. He's waiting for nobody. And we've got the 3 here. 2, 3, and 4 of Kratrim, Andrex, and LSC and Buck. Now as they go into turn 13, Tower. And Buck falling back a little bit. Funtang there, who, again, unfortunately had that disconnect out at Spa. He finds himself running in 5th right now. A little squirrely coming into turn number 15. Able to keep the EB110 planted pretty well, and now out of Le Mans. They hit the Ullman straight. Here comes Andrex. He's going to use that slipstream there on Kratrim for a little bit, and let's see if maybe he pokes his head out to the inside here, turning into Sunset Bend onto that concrete, which again has those little bumps, but let's see how well the EB110 is able to manage it. Kratrim goes wide. He's going to rope it back into the apex here toward the pit lane entry, and Andrex is going to be on his inside. And across the line they'll go with Andrex up to 2nd. And let's see here if Andrex can make it 2 in a row. 2nd place. LSCM Buck just kind of waiting in the balance there to see if he can't make a move. If there were to be a mistake here for drivers 2 and 3. Back behind Buck, it's still Funtang in 5th. Fear the Fun has moved up to 6th. Chaos Fox in 7th. Barney has dropped all the way back now to 8th position from 4th. And check that, Buck is the one who was in 4th, and he's still there. So Barney back there in 8th. Mounted Weapon in 9th. Slow Motion Fire in 10th. And we've got a driver who's in the pit lane. That's going to be Grim. Going to go ahead and get some repair patched up. Simulation damage here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. So you got to be careful. Keep your car in good shape all the way through, and that means not over revving and getting that clutch damage too. You get that, and that'll shave a few tenths of a second off your time every lap. So you got to be careful. Be all too powerful. EB110, here comes Kratrim now out of tower once again. He's got Andrex out in front of him, and maybe at this point you're just kind of if you're Kratrim, maybe you're just kind of waiting to see what happens here. Not try to push the issue too much. Look at that view. Probably one of the better camera angles that we get here in Forza Motorsport 7 as they slam on the brakes. The front of the car comes down. And now they accelerate back out. Here comes Kratrim. And he puts his front bumper back to the rear of Andrex and actually pokes back out again, and they're going to go single file back through 17th here for the 2nd time. Buck back there behind him, continually just hanging tight. A 4th place finish for Buck. I mean, you're going to have to love that one. I mean, considering who we have out here on the track in the Forza Spec Racing Series. 4th, 5th, 6th, heck, anywhere in the top 10. That's a good finish. Back to Funtang in 5th position. He's got Fear the Fun behind him. And Fear the Fun, as usual, a man on the mission. So we might very well see a little battle for 5th here not too long, assuming Fear the Fun can keep his consistency. We saw him there at Spa run off the track on Stablot, and of course that was before he disconnected, or before he was disconnected. He didn't choose to, but the game decided he'd be. As Futang off the curbing there, coming through turn 16. All on his own for right now. He's got LSC and Buck, though, out ahead of him, which means Audrex and Cratrium not too far off. Runs up onto those little reflectors, but then comes back out on the racing line before running it wide here. And that's the typical line that you'll see out here at Sebring. You have that white line, which signifies the far left side of track limits, but when you're not doing qualifying, and that time doesn't necessarily matter in the Forza Spec Racing Series, they'll allow you to extend at that part of the track. Here comes Futang with, looked like Buck got off into the grass there a little bit. The 587 horsepower EB110, 461 foot-pounds of torque, 2,886 pounds. It was the choice of AMS Storm, who won season number 35 in the VW Scirocco. AMS Storm not running here in season 36, leaving it up to AMS Unicon and RZ and McQueen to battle it out for the top spot. Unfortunately, RZ and McQueen not racing here in week number 3, hoping to see him back in week number 4 so that he can still be in the running for the championship. Huracan in a good position, though, going into week 4. Assuming he does get the victory here at Sebring, he's in an uncontested position to do so. And that would be 100 points to him to help make up for the race that he did lose, or both the races that AMS Unicon lost there in week number 2, with McQueen going back-to-back. Down the Olin Straight once again. Fear the Fun in 6th, Barney in 7th, Morna's Ghost in 8th, Chaos Fox in 9th. Let's go to Slipstream, who's in 10th. AP1 Raccoon in 11th. Brazows, who we talked to there in the driver's spotlight before the race, he's in 12th position right now with Modern Weapon in 13th. Fox Jason D, who's trying to get his second top 10 finish here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, currently running in 14th. Slow Motion Fire in 15th. Grim, who I saw there in pit lane a couple of laps back, actually coming off of lap number 1. He's in 16th and on the opposite end of the circuit. Here comes Chaos Fox on the outside in 9th. With Slip there in 10th. Raccoon in 11th. They'll go single file now through 5. Up to Big Bend. Oh, Raccoon. A little off-roading. That's not going to help you keep pace with Slip, as the Red Line Oil livery to EB110 running in 11th. Out of Collier into 12, then 13, Tower. Let's go to Buck in 5th. Drops a spot back to Futang. Futang making the pass. Guessing a little bit earlier on this lap. And we'll see if Buck can take it back. Into Sunset Bend. No sunset right now. It gets that name because it is the western part of the circuit, and on any of those endurance races, the 12 hours of Sebring, as the nightfall comes into play, you get the sun right there at sundown, twilight, staring at you in the face. Futang gonna lead Buck into 4. Audrek still in second, Kratrum in third. Now Buck is going to go ahead and mow the lawn a bit as he now drops back another car length to Futang. Futang not in his traditional NVIDIA garb. Although I can't recall the last time I seen Futang with the NVIDIA magenta and green. Maybe he's decided to let that one go. As we rode on board there with Buck going through turn 17, now into 1 here on lap number 7. It's very satisfying when you can hit turn 1. You don't have a lot of room to work with on the exit. Sure, there's a lot of concrete entering and midway through turn 1, which kind of allows it facilitates the re-entry of cars coming out of pit lane, but on the exit, once you have hit the straight there toward turn 2, 3, and 4, they don't give you a lot of room before you start to find yourself in the green stuff. As we see Buck getting around one of the back markers of Grimm. Again, it doesn't matter. As long as you race clean, you can be out here, and if that means you're a lap or 2 down, that's okay. Do your thing. Don't get discouraged. The only way you can get better is to keep racing. And now Buck finding himself about 4 or 5 car lengths back from Futang at this point. As that lead continues to grow, Futang, he's got some work to catch up there with Kratrum in third. Audrex still in second. Let's go to Kratrum. Kratrum with the X-Venture logos on 3 sides there of the EB110. Appreciate that. A little bit of a name change, so somebody had to throw the graphics together. Whoever did that, much appreciated. Now into 17 for Kratrum. You see a little bit of the bouncing there of the nose. The EB110 quite heavy, so that was why I asked Sprazaus if the weight of the car helps keep it planted, whereas a lighter vehicle might be prone to a little skipping, jumping as the suspension gets unloaded over that portion of the track. And then everything else out here at Sebring is actually pretty dang smooth. What was formerly an Army Air Force installation, now a racetrack. Back into hairpin 7. through that little chicane. Let's go to Barney in 7th. He's got Fear the Fun in 6th. And actually, he's got Grimm to deal with first. Oh, and Barney, to avoid Grimm, cuts it through the inside there of turn number 9 to avoid an incident. Now through Collier. Well done. I mean, that was about as clean as you can do that corner in an effort to avoid a collision. And so Fear the Fun off the pace because he was trying to catch up with Buck there, but instead finds himself working rearward. Into turn number 1 here on lap 9 of 15. LSEM Barney putting the pressure on here with Funtang, and back there in 8th, it looks like Born is Ghost. Catching up, and Born is Ghost trying to redeem himself after the race out at Spa, where he was heading up Eau Rouge in 4th place, had Audrex there with him. And Born is Ghost saying, yeah, it was completely his doing that had him going off track up the hill at Spa, which then gave up 4 positions, I believe. And so maybe if he can keep on pace and catch up here with Barney and Fear the Fun, maybe he can get himself a top 6 or a P6 finish. And then our 2 drivers, Fox Jason D and Sprazals, who are looking to get a top 10 finish here. Not looking so good at Sebring. Fox Jason D in 14th, Sprazals in 13th. And now here comes Barney back through Le Mans once again, turn 16. Fear the Fun putting on the block there through the latter half of 17. Barney was closing in quickly and looking to make the move on the low line. And there goes Fear the Fun. Like I mentioned, they don't give you a lot of room to recover there out of turn 1. And as a result, he puts 2 wheels off into the grass. And of course, you got to fight to bring the Bugatti back out on the track. And as such, you slow down. Yes, it makes Barney slow down, but it's those little inconsistencies and those mistakes that make it that much easier for your competitor, your closest competitor, to find a way around you at some point. And let's see how Fear the Fun fares into 7. Up onto the curbing. A little bit of a tire spin with some smoke. Now out of 8. Brake discs glow there on all 4 corners of the EB110, trying to slow down pretty hefty vehicle earlier on in the season. And there goes Fear the Fun. Oh, and that's always Yeah, you'll see that happen to a lot of drivers. You run up onto that curb and you get that curbing up underneath the middle of the car. It can unsettle the angle of attack, and it did exactly that with Fear the Fun now to the outside through 15, and Barney making the move. Fear the Fun, he wants it back. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it here. And sure enough, there you go. Change of position. Barney up to 6th. Oh, and Barney, maybe he was going to turn his car in, but Fear the Fun was down there. And so that didn't allow him to drop down like he was anticipating. And instead, they'll go side by side across the line for the beginning of lap 11. It's going to be Barney to the inside. He'll have the advantage here through turn number 1. That's going to send Fear the Fun running wide, and he's going to avoid the grass. And so these two are flip-flop position here a little bit on lap 11. And thanks again for you all hanging out with me here on a Tuesday evening. If you're not yet following the stream, please follow the lead of Stronger Man X, Doki, and Cameron Exley. They've all followed here this evening. You follow, you have your notifications set up. You'll get notified the next time we go live. Or if you don't have your notifications, at the very least, I'll be in your follow channel section here on Twitch when I do go live, which right now the stream schedule looks like this. Tuesdays for the Forza Spec Racing Series. Holland for the weekend with American Truck Simulator on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then a little bit of Wheels Up with Microsoft Flight Simulator on Sundays at, I don't know, somewhere around about 10 a.m. Eastern time. Fear the Fun back up to 6th. This is the best battle we have out on the track right now. Of course, I say that, and we've got LSCM Buck and Funtang 5th and 4th respectively. Let's go ahead and check that one out. The other LSCM driver out here on the track. Amos Udakan, our race leader. Cratrim now has taken 2nd from Audrex. And so we'll go back up there if Audrex starts to challenge for 2nd. But right now he's back by about a half or a full 2nd. As Buck is going to kick the dust up. That puts his EB110 in a little bit of a precarious position there heading into turn 3. Able to maintain, and of course, as soon as I say that, he goes off the track a little bit there, out of 5, now in a Big Bend. Able to make that recovery. Clearly pushing the Bugatti quite hard. Oh, when he gets into the back end of Funtang, heading into 7, he will go ahead and allow Funtang to recover. And actually, Funtang makes a really quick recovery and says, see you later there, Buck. Ghibli Giblet says, I'm happy to be here. I'm a doctor, and I left my heart transplant patient on the table for this. Well, yeah, they say it isn't so. You have to have your priorities, says DW Fraud. Let's go take a look at there at turn 7 there, that little bit of an incident between Buck and Funtang. Doing the right thing was Buck, letting Funtang recover, but Funtang, like I said, able to get the car pointed in the right direction really, really quick. Actually, I mean, he sent Funtang into a slide, which didn't seem to really hurt Funtang at all. Let's go to Born as Ghost, who is now closed in on LSCM Barney. We saw him waiting back there as Barney and Fear the Fun were racing against each other, and now Born as Ghost trying to pick up 7th here as they start lap 13. Yeah, it was. Real quick recovery. Drex getting a little bit closer to Cratrim there for second. We'll flip back over there in a second. Here's Born as Ghost now as they head back towards 7 on lap 13 of 15. Staying within the lines, coming out of 7 into 8 and 9. Fear the Fun now apparently has it figured out. He's been able to put a few car lengths in between he and Barney. In a tower. Fear the Fun throwing smoke. That's going to allow Barney to catch up. And we're about to have ourselves a 3-way battle for 6th. Oh, I heard some contact, and indeed Barney getting up onto the passenger side there of Fear the Fun through 15. I heard the contact, we didn't see it. But as the camera pulled back, it was evident those two went side by side into the right-hander heading toward Le Mans. And now here on Ullman Straight, it's going to be Fear the Fun still in 6th. But he's got 2 drivers right there in his rear view mirror. Over the Sunset Bend goes Born as Ghost. Keeps it nice and clean, runs it out wide to catch up or to pick up as much speed as possible. Here comes Barney now to the inside through 1. We'll get a view of it here from Born as Ghost. And there goes Barney making the pass. And, oh, there goes Fear the Fun into the back of Barney. Clearly, Fear the Fun not anticipating Barney to brake as quick as he did. That or Fear the Fun was just late. That's going to allow Born as Ghost to make the double pass, and up to 6th he goes. Slipstream now claims 7th with Barney in 9th. Or excuse me, Barney in 8th, Fear the Fun in 9th, Chaos Fox in 10th, Raccoon in 11th. Let's go to 3rd with Drex as he's going to try to make a run here at Cratrim with a lap and a half to go. As we go back to the X-Venture rewind, looking from Born as Ghost point of view. And then you see it all spill out for him here. And Fear the Fun doing the sportsman-like thing there. He could have entered that corner, turn 3 and 4, and just carried on. But he felt he was at fault, and as such, he pulled off to the side there with Barney. And they were passed a couple of times over, both by Born as Ghost and Slipstream. White flag flies. Amos Udakan is going to pick up his 2nd straight win, so long as nothing drastic happens here on this final lap. But let's see what happens here in the battle for 2nd. Drex now out of 5. Then 6. The charge towards 7. The rewind has come quite handy for us here in week 3. A lot of action to go take a look back at. Here comes Audrex into turn 10. Then Collier. A very complex section back here. It's a little deceiving. You got to set your braking up just right through 10 and then not really push the pedal too much through Collier. And then you got to get the angle right to have a nice run through 13, which is Tower. And then that sets you up nicely for the high-speed section there through Bishop at 14. And then you slow it back down again for 15 and 16. Here comes Audrex. Is he going to have a chance? He's going to have to hightail it down Ullman. And unless something happens here with Cratrim at Sunset, it'll be Cratrim in second, Audrex in third. Let's see. And that's exactly how those two will finish. Cratrim now claiming P2 after Audrex got P2 out at Spa. Funtang, after a disconnect in our first race of the evening, he'll pick up fourth. Buck will be fifth. Borna's Ghost in sixth. Slipstream in seventh. Let's go to Barney, who has fallen back to ninth with Fear the Fun in eighth. They hit turn 17. And Barney's going to have to settle for ninth after that incident that he and Fear the Fun had 2 laps ago. 10th will go to Chaos Fox. AP1 Raccoon in 11th. Modern Weapon now coming around the track for 12th. In that Crystal Pepsi car. Which, by the way, probably one of the better liveries out here. Harkening back to the I don't know what I was going to say there. Back to the 80s. And across the line he goes. 13th will belong to Sprazows. Fox Jason D in 14th. Slow Motion Fire in 15th. And who did we lose there? Grem in 16th? I think so. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and take a note of where everybody finished. You're not going to miss anything. Of course, all the action has completed, but we will be back to talk to some of our drivers in the driver spotlight. We'll do a quick little preview of Season 36's Week 4, and then we will talk about what's coming up here on X-Venture over the rest of the week. All that after this ad break. You're watching X-Venture in the Forza Spec Racing Series Season number 36 live on Twitch. And welcome back to X-Venture here live on Twitch TV. Forza Spec Racing Series season number 36. Week number 3 has come to conclusion. Week number 4, a week from tonight, same time, same channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, as we head out to Catalunya, the Grand Prix circuit for 17 laps, and Road America for 14 laps. This after AMS Unicon picks up both the wins here in week number 3 with the absence of RZ and McQueen. It would have been interesting to see how those two would have taken victories here in week 3, but we're just going to have to maybe hold over until week number 4, hopefully, if we can get RZ and McQueen back out on the track for Catalunya and Road America. That'll be a good one to watch. So don't miss it, 8 p.m. Eastern, a week from tonight. It's going to be a great battle, and of course we'll have the standings, the points, the championship points, all tallied after tonight's race, and then we'll take a look at that heading into week number 4 to see who is in the running for the championship. And then, of course, another big story here tonight, Audrex and Craytrim splitting races 2 and 3, with Audrex getting the P2 finish out at Spa, then finishing 3rd here at Sebring, the vice versa for Craytrim, who was 3rd out at Spa, and then 2nd here at Sebring. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up a little bit earlier. I don't see anybody in the driver's spotlight, but I'm going to go ahead and close this one out here this evening. Remember, 8 p.m. a week from tonight, and then 2 weeks from tonight will be our Season 36 finale out at Monza for 45 laps. So there's a lot yet to be seen. 3 races remaining in this season with the EB110, and of course the champion is going to dictate what car is raced in season number 37. All right, and then as far as X-Venture goes, I did mention that we had a broadcast on Sunday, our Wheels Up Microsoft Flight Simulator broadcast, but also in the week on Fridays, Holland for the Weekend, 6 p.m. Eastern, American Truck Simulator. We're going to pick up where we left off this past Friday, which was a run over to Fresno, California. We'll complete that, and then we'll see what other shenanigans, what other antics I can get up to, and see. I don't know. Who knows what we're going to be hauling this time? We've done everything from big pieces of farm equipment or mining equipment to, I think it was like wood chips or something like that. Something crazy. So hauling for the weekend this Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on X-Venture. It's a lot of fun. Don't miss it. And then the Wheels Up broadcast. Wheels Up, alluding to the fact that it'll be airplane activity there on Sunday at about 10 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. You can always keep up to date with what's going on here on X-Venture on my Twitter handle, which is the exact same title as the channel, EXE Venture. Follow me, and everything I post there, it'll be about the broadcast or some of the happenings in the world of Forza, whether it be for motorsport or for Horizon. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and being a great spectator crowd, crew, whatever you want to call yourselves. If you get any sim action in, American Truck Simulator, Flight Simulator, maybe you're going to do some racing here on through the week. Keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean, and of course, as always, stay happy, stay healthy. Until next time, take care. Adios. Goodbye.